This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Walk the world with a hunger inside. Touch the flame, believe the lie. Tasted heaven through a needle's eye.
Following program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, it doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, I think we already know that. It does not matter who the host is. What has always mattered is who the listeners are. Anyways, we are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM on this day, November the 10th of 2025, which is a Monday, just in case you're not aware of that. Day 314th of the year and only 51 days left to go. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on. As we are in this multiverse, we're also hanging out with the people of that multiverse.
Radio Big. USA, Canada, UK.
Oh, yes. Kind of going a little bit of everywhere is kind of the way that it goes. So there you go. Don't worry about much of anything else. Anyways, how was your weekend? What did you do? Anything exciting? Anything fun? Anything you want to brag about? Anything you want to get whipped about? You know, anything along those lines? No, seriously. So how was it? Did you do anything outstanding? Anything that sticks out to you from the top of your head? A lot of stuff going on, of course, over this weekend. If you are not aware, our show consists of Safety in the News. Let's see, Safety in the News and Safety. I think that's how it goes. We kind of do this thing where we talk a little bit about everything. Then we come back and do a main story, bring some professional broadcasters in, and they do a lot of the heavy lifting. And then I come back, and then we talk a little bit more as we are going through everything, as we take a look at what is going on inside of the system here. And then we move forward, and that's it. And then if you want to interact with the show, it's kind of a simple process on doing so. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. Once you get there, audio, video, text messaging are the options that are readily available. And then we move forward. And that's it. A lot of stuff, I know. But some things that causes some movement. That is for sure, as we are talking. So with that being said, we do have some people that come in and talk. And then I do my jibber jabber as we're doing everything that's going on. So there you go. There you go. That's just kind of the way that it is. I was thinking that maybe we should start talking about all kinds of stuff. And as we're going through everything, why don't we do this? Why don't we do stuff that we've learned by Judge Judy?
And now, things I've learned from Judge Judy.
All rise.
You were not clearly, based upon what you just told me, not being a protective mother. Mother of an 8-year-old little girl is supposed to know what she's doing all the time, especially when you bring strange men around the house. We understand each other.
That's it for things I've learned from Judge Judy.
Okay, so some stuff that we learned from Judge Judy. You don't even have to watch the show. We're teaching you the stuff that it's being done over there. So with that being said, why don't we go ahead and do this? Why don't we go ahead and bring in our friends from Feature Story News, as they'll get you through the multiverse of things that occurred. Now, sit back and pay close attention to what they have to say, because I'm going to put it to you this way. They give you all of the headlines of what's taking place right now, kind of simplifies the process. And then we kind of just move it forward with everything else. Don't worry. Friends from Feature Story News coming up right now. Take a listen.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in Brussels, I'm William Denslow. The US Senate has reached a deal to end the government shutdown. Several more hurdles still need to be cleared, but it's seen as a major step towards ending the record-setting deadlock. The government ran out of money 40 days ago, leading to the suspension of a number of services, leaving millions of federal employees furloughed or working without pay. The White House has welcomed the resignation of the BBC's Director General and Chief Executive of News. Tim Davie and Deborah Turnus announced they were stepping down after controversy over the editing of a speech by Donald Trump on the day of the Capitol attack in 2021. Former Culture Secretary Sir John Whittingdale says more change is needed at the BBC.
It is not enough just to have two people leave their jobs and two new people to come in, because this will happen again, as has been shown over the recent months. It keeps happening. So I think there needs to be more fundamental change.
Hungary's Prime Minister Viktor Orban says he's reached a deal with US President Donald Trump to protect his country's economy from external shocks. The announcement follows Orban's White House visit, where he also won a temporary exemption from US sanctions on Russian energy. Pablo Guterres reports from Budapest.
Orban said the new financial shield guarantees U.S. backing if Hungary's economy or financial system comes under attack. He offered no details on how the agreement would work, but described it as a safeguard, ensuring the country faces no financing risks. Washington confirmed that Hungary also agreed to purchase $600 million worth of U.S. liquefied natural gas. The deal marks another sign of tightening ties between Orban and Trump, whose cooperation could boost Orban's standing ahead of next year's election.
Jared Kushner is expected to hold talks with Israeli officials to try to settle a standoff over the presence of Hamas members in Israeli military-controlled territory in southern Gaza. Blake Sifton reports from Tel Aviv.
Jared Kushner will reportedly meet Prime Minister Netanyahu on Monday to hold talks on the safe passage of approximately 150 to 200 Hamas members trapped in tunnels behind Israeli military lines in Rafah. The U.S. is understood to be pushing for their safe passage to Palestinian-controlled areas of Gaza in exchange for them surrendering their weapons out of fear that Israeli attempts to capture or kill them could cause the ceasefire to collapse. Hamas said Sunday that its members in Rafah would not surrender to Israel, and Israel has rejected allowing them to leave, even if they give up their arms.
And a French court is set to decide today whether to release former President Nicolas Sarkozy from jail pending an appeal. He was convicted over allegations that he sought funding from late Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi for his 2007 election campaign. From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks, looking in more detail today at the crisis at the BBC. It resulted in the broadcaster's Director General and Head of News both resigning on Sunday. Their positions became untenable last week when the corporation was assailed by President Donald Trump over video edited in a documentary that led viewers to believe that he directly ordered his supporters to engage in a physical fight when they marched to Capitol Hill on January the 6th, 2021. The film edited out the president's instruction to his supporters to behave peacefully. With the US president calling the institution's news coverage entirely fake, the reverberations were felt this weekend in London.
The editing of that Panorama documentary, which went out ages ago, it should have been apologised for immediately.
John Sopel is a former veteran BBC News correspondent, now co-host of the podcast The News Agents.
The BBC is very slow to apologise, to put its hands up when it does something wrong. For years, I was abroad as a foreign correspondent for the BBC. Their reputation was stellar, but it doesn't look so stellar now. And here we have, once again, Donald Trump saying, I'm not happy with this. And sure enough, a weekend later, the two main actors are gone.
And indeed, it appears the British government, fearful the issue was going to put a fresh strain in transatlantic relations, demanded the departure of the corporation's senior leaders. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
FSN is an independent source of news for TV, radio and digital networks worldwide. You can find more of our minute-by-minute updates on Twitter. Follow us there at Feature Story. And we have a wealth of audio and video stories from our global news bureaus on Facebook. You can find us there by following Feature Story News. Stay tuned for further updates right here. But for now, that's the latest Feature Story News. William Denslow reporting.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Hey, are you tired of hanging around and talking about safety in a boring kind of format? Well, I got something for you. If you haven't hung out with us yet at safetyfm.com, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Yeah, if you come out to Safety FM, you can come hang out with all kinds of safety professionals. Some are safety professionals, some are just people that are talking about safety. But we want to do it in a format that makes it fun and entertaining. If you're kind of trying to figure out what the FM portion is, well, we're a radio station and also a podcast network. You can come out, hang out, and listen to my show, The Jay Allen Show. You can listen to Todd Conklin with the pre-accident investigation, Blaine J. Hoffman with the Safety Pro, just to name a few on what can be found on the station. Different things for different people, trying to bring safety in an entertaining form. SafetyFM.com. Go to the website, download the app, and carry it with you all day long. SafetyFM.com. We'll be waiting for you.
What if everything we thought we knew about safety was just interference? From the host of the Rated R Safety Show and the founder of Safety FM comes the complete Signal Transmission Trilogy, now available in one powerful edition. Safety, in my opinion, the book that started the conversation. Safety Mutation, where the boundaries of culture, systems, and belief begin to break. And now, Safety Transmission, the final piece of the signal. For the first time, all three books are together in one volume. The Signal Transmission Trilogy, Complete Edition. This isn't just about compliance. It's about consciousness. It's about decoding the way we think, lead, and live, inside and outside the system. Whether you've been following the signal since the beginning or you're just now tuning in, this is the version to own. Search Signal Trilogy on Amazon or visit safetyfm.com to get your copy now.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month, and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, yes, it sounds like some risky business that's rated R safety show thing, that's for sure, as we are talking. So, we started off the show by talking about the things that were going on over the weekend, because that's kind of how we do some of the stuff. No other way on really kind of going over the information that is happening. I mean, how else would you take a look at what is going on inside of the world? So let's do this. Let's start off with talking about what the hell happened at the box office.
The top spot at the box office this weekend. At the box office. The box office roundup.
The weekend box office.
At the box office this weekend.
Okay, so let's take a look at the box office as we start through some of this stuff. Let's see. Let's go. Going from number 10 to number 1, Tron Ares, $1.8 million. And number 9 was Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere, $2.2 million. And number 8 was Die My Love with $2.8 million. And number 7 was Begonia with $3.5 million. And number 6, yes, number 6, Chainsaw Man with $3.6 million. And number 5 was Nuremberg with $4.1 million. And number 4 was Sarah's Oil with $4.5 million. Number 3, Black Phone 2, $5.3 million. Number 2 was Regretting You with $7.1 million. And at the number 1 spot was Badlands, where Predators Badlands, starring Ellie Fanning. Is the number 1 movie in America, earning around $40 million, way further than projections. The other thing that ended up happening there was the new, Sydney Sweeney movie didn't even make the top 10. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting. I was reading yesterday that it was saying that it was her 3rd bomb in a row. In regards to the movies, I mean, I guess based on projections and expectations and what actually occurred. Don't know if that's important to you, but that's some information that is being told. Anyways, let's talk about some
news stories
and a kind of some
odd stories all at the same time.
So, with that being said, take a listen to this one. A volunteer cleaner at Keelung Museum in Taiwan accidentally destroyed a valuable artwork after mistaking it with a dirty mirror. The piece Inverted Syntax 16 by artist Cheng Shang Chi featured a dust-coated mirror with deliberate smudge meant to symbolize the middle-class cultural consciousness. Believing that it was simply dirty, the volunteer wiped the mirror clean with a toilet paper, erasing the 40-year-old carefully preserved dust and permanently damaging the artwork, according to Metro UK. Museum's officials since then apologized to Shen and are in talks about compensation. The artwork was part of We Are We exhibition, I can't even talk, which showcased pieces made from everyday objects and building materials. Interesting, though, some art critics argued that the cleaning mishap has now become part of the piece of the story, suggesting that the restoration itself could be seen as an extension of the work's meaning. So there you go. Some stuff to think about. So now it's getting intense. Now I'm not sure if I should be cleaning anything because it could be some kind of artwork. So I guess a volunteer took art restoration a little bit too literally. And 40 years of dust gone in 60 seconds. Nothing says fresh start like wiping out an entire artist's era. And then one person's grime is another person's genius. From priceless to spotless is one tragic swipe. And then the art world calls it vandalism. The janitor calls it, well, Tuesday.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
I mean, just imagine that you do cleanings for part of your work stuff, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, we got an issue here, and you're like, what? What's the issue? And then it becomes one of these things that they tell you, well, the issue is the following. You did your job.
All of your favorite songs in one cozy place.
This is cozy.
And we charge nothing for delivery.
Yep, nothing for delivery. It's definitely a cozy place around here. We'll get some music into hour 2 and 3, so don't worry about that because that is kind of what we do around here. No doubt about that. Okay, the world's largest spider web is home to over 111,000 spiders. Scientists have discovered the world's largest spider web inside of a cave. And let's see, Greek Albania border. So there you go. The massive network spanning 1,140.97 square feet was woven by more than 111,000 spiders from 2 species. Despite the typically being predators of one another, the 2 species coexisted peacefully in the cave, possibly because the pitch dark environment had pulled their vision. Their food chain is just as unusual. The spiders eat non-biting midges, which are feed on microbial films nourished by sulfur and oxidizing by bacteria. Scientists called the finding, breathtaking, though to anyone afraid of spiders, it's pure nightmare fuel. No doubt about that. Finally, a neighborhood where everyone's connected by the web. 111,000 spiders. Even Google Fiber doesn't have that much coverage. Somewhere, one spider just said, "Hey, who touched my section?" Homeowners associations meeting down there must be a nightmare. But think about this for just a brief moment as we are going through this and maybe getting a little bit serious for just a brief. Who the hell counted there's 111,000 spiders? I mean, like, how would you know that? There's no way that you can just take a gander and go, oh, yeah, there's 111 of those suckers right there. It's not something you're going to know. So there you go. Some stuff to talk about. Okay, what else do we got going on? Let's see. After 40 days, the longest government shutdown in U.S. history, it appears to close to ending as Democrats and Republicans struck a tentative bipartisan deal to reopen the government temporarily. Lawmakers met on a rare Sunday session to finalize the stopgap funding measure that would keep the government running through late January. Sources confirmed that CNN that Axios and the Republicans secured enough Democratic votes to move the bill through the Senate, with final vote expected before it heads to President Trump's desk for a signature. So there you go. What else do we got as we are talking about, the lovely stuff
of, politics?
Okay, what else do we got? Biden touts Dems election wins, says Trump is taking a wrecking ball to democracy. Former President Joe Biden blasted President Trump's administration during a speech at Ben Nelson's annual gala in Omaha, Nebraska on Friday, calling it the government that works for billionaires and millionaires instead of the American people. Speaking to a packed room, Democrats Biden attacked Trump over the ongoing 6-week government shutdown, the demolition of the White House East Wing, and cuts to health and research funding. He praised Democrats' victories in recent state elections, saying that voters had sent a clear message to Trump. We don't do work for you. You work for us. Biden accused Trump of worsening the hunger in America, calling current SNAP policies immoral and that 1 in 5 children now go to bed hungry. He also mocked Trump's Great Gatsby themed Halloween party and compared it to the East Wing demolition, taking a wrecking ball to the Constitution and democracy itself. So what do you think here? I mean, you know that how it is. People always say controversy creates cash. I don't think the controversy here is creating any kind of cash.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
What do you think about the whole thing? It becomes one of those major things that we have to talk about. Because how long is the shutdown? Now, you know that a lot of people are going to start complaining now, because it's going to affect the way that the airlines are working. I mean, if you saw over the weekend, there was thousands of flights that were canceled. So what do you think? Were you impacted? I have an acquaintance that was posting online that he was at an airport and they finally got to the runway. And when they got to the tarmac portion, boom, number 28 in line because the airport had closed down one of the tarmacs. So, of course, this is going to delay stuff. And that depending on where you were flying, there were some other news reports that were taking place that said it could take, depending on the airport, that they were forcing delays between 2 to 5.5 hours was the longest one that I actually heard. So I don't know. What do you think about the whole mess? It gets pretty interesting relatively quick, no doubt about that.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Hey, listen, I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer here, but we definitely need to talk about some of this stuff because sometimes it gets kind of weird where we start talking about it and then we don't kind of complete everything that's going on, but that's just the way that it is. Let's continue talking about some other stuff. President Trump made a dramatic entrance at the Washington Commanders game yesterday, flying low over the Northwest Stadium aboard Air Force One before attending a matchup against the Detroit Lions. The crowd erupted as the presidential jet thundered by with a moment replayed on a jumbotron. After landing, Trump joked was the greatest flyover ever before heading to the owner's box alongside with Secretary of War Pete Gethet. Let's see. During the halftime, he led a Veterans Day ceremony, swearing in a new service member and smiling as they read the line, "I will obey the orders of the President of the United States," to the cheers and boos from those on the stands. The president joined the live broadcast in the third quarter, calling a few plays with trademark confidence. They've got to get a touchdown. Let's put it differently, just to get a touchdown. Team owner Josh Harris later presented him with a Commander jersey sporting his name in the number 47.
I just want to say, was that the greatest flyover ever? Nobody's ever done a flyover like that. So these are the best pilots in the world. They say whoever flies Air Force One, the best pilots. And we just saw that.
Okay, so there you go. That's coming directly from the president, as you can hear. That was the best flyover ever, as he has stated. So there you go. Some stuff to talk about, no doubt about that. Okay, so let's take a little pause for the cause here. Take a listen to this one. A new relationship study says that couples who practice a 5-minute rule, pausing before reacting during conflict, report 40% fewer arguments. The science lets your nervous system chill out long enough to respond instead of explode. Relationship coaches say it's an adult version of count to 10, but with better results. So there you go. I don't know. Something to think about. Kid, I don't know. Do you think this would work for you? Because I have noticed that sometimes when people get into arguments in relationships, the count to whatever sometimes doesn't work. And sometimes some people feel like it's more like the silent treatment than anything else. How would you visualize that? Would you visualize that as something that makes sense? Or would you visualize it as, oh shit, this person just doesn't want to talk to me for the next 5 minutes? I mean, I have all kinds of mental issues, so I know how that goes.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, a lot of stuff going on inside of the multiverse here. Hospital nurses secretly sedate sick patient to make his night shifts easier. A 44-year-old, care nurse in Western Germany has been sentenced to life in prison without parole after being found guilty of murdering at least 10 patients when attempting to kill 27 others. Prosecutors said that he injected elderly patients with overdoses of painkillers and sedatives, including morphine, just to make his night shifts easier. The nurse reportedly showed a little empathy and motivation to his work, describing his actions as an attempt to help patients sleep, claiming that he didn't realize the doses would be lethal. Authorities were there to maybe more victims as they continue investigating his past medical employment. So there you go. A lot of stuff about thinking about that. I mean, that's kind of crazy when it's all said and done. Oh, I didn't realize that if I over-medicated somebody, it might potentially kill them. Guess he took putting patients to sleep way too literally. The world's worst nurse, but probably the world's most rested. When the idea quiet night shifts involves a morgue upgrade, that is not an option. They ask for pain relief, not permanent nap. Sleep is the best medicine, not the best one for the last time that you take it. from nurse to hearse is in one syringe. His performance review must read, strong results, poor survival rate. The only nurse who thinks rest in peace is part of a care plan.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
You know, we really need something for WTF, and it should be Welcome to Florida, because, you know, when we get to some of these stories, it's just mind-boggling to me. Police in Port St. Lucie, Florida responded to a bizarre late-night accident after a drunk argument about all of the things, how many eggs a chicken can lay, turned violent around 2:48 a.m. outside of a closed bar. 4 drinking buddies took to their poultry debate in the parking lot, where one man, Peter Riera, became paranoid after smoking marijuana. He accused the other one of trying to con him, pulled out a gun, and fired 4 shots. Miraculously, one was hurt. No one was hurt, better saying. Riera now faces laundry list of charges, while 2 others were arrested for resisting the police. Wouldn't it be resisting arrest, not resisting the police? I'm just saying. So that was one way to scramble an argument. Guess you could say the debate of eggs spoilage is there. Also, everybody really cracked under the pressure. Shots fired over chicken. That was one foul, FOWL, just in case discussion. Nothing says friendship like dodging bullets for breakfast over food. I mean, just kind of ridiculous when you really start thinking about it. So what do you think about the whole thing? It's kind of one of those interesting ones. Anyways, take a listen to this one. In Indonesia, a crazy encounter was caught on video when a veteran snake handler and a tour guide, Heru, was dragged underwater by a 6-meter python after trying to catch it from a boat. The massive reptile coiled around his torso, arms, and necks, and his group frantically jumped to save him. After a tense struggle, 2 men managed to pry the python off, one grabbing its head and the other grabbing its tail, freeing Heru, who somehow escaped unharmed. The crew later posed for photos with the enormous snake before releasing it back to the wild. Well, that's pretty brave. I don't know if I would have released it back. That's not what they meant when they said immersive wildlife experience. When your job description goes to from tour guide to snake snack, not a good idea. And also, someone tell Heru that catch and release doesn't mean catch yourself first. Nothing like 6 meters reminder that nature doesn't do small talk. And that's one way to test your life insurance policy to see if it's fully enforced or not. You know, those things, I guess, tend to happen from time to time when you really give some thought to it.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, some main story time, because that is what we do around here. So let's talk about something that we all love to brag about, and that is progress. Even companies love to say it. We're moving forward, we're evolving, we're innovating, but sometimes that progress is nothing more than a new coat of paint on the same cracked wall. You know how this goes. I mean, I'm not telling you anything you don't know. So you know the story, a safety program that gets rebranded, the posters, the new graphics, the old slogans get retired, replaced with fresher versions, the ones that sound a little bit more human and a little bit more empathetic, because that's important. The call is modern safety. I'm sure you've heard this term already. The talk that it talks about psychological safety, because that seems to be some of the buzzwords. They bring in a speaker, maybe even, you know, someone who is well known, and for a few weeks, people get excited. But deep down, there's nothing really that's changed, because progress isn't about what we print. It's about what we practice when nobody's watching. And this is where the difficult part comes about, because some people get super excited about some of these things, but they don't realize that the change has to happen even after the magical speaker or consultant has walked in. When I visit organizations, I'll ask, what has gotten better in the last year? And they'll list, you know, new software, new dashboards, new acronyms, and then, you know, they'll ask what. Then I'll ask the question, what's the difference in how the people are treated? And that's where the room kind of, you get the look, and you know the look that I'm talking about, or I'll get the silence, and that's when you get the progress is real. Or it's just a mirage shimmering of a corporate desert. Something that looks impressive is until you get close enough to it, it's built on hot air in PowerPoint's probably not going much of anywhere. So the problem that we run into is that we'd love to measure outcomes, TRIR, incident frequencies, the usual suspects, but they don't say anything. They don't tell people to feel trusted, or if they feel any kind of trust inside of the organization, or if they even think that they'll survive what's going on inside of the system. Real progress isn't metrics, and this is what I think that we've spent a lot of time talking about this. It's in stories that never make it to the reports. This is the stuff that we probably should focus a good chunk of time on, but we don't. It's the moments where someone spoke up without fear. It's where the leaders say, I don't know, and mean it, opposed to, let me get back to you on it. Or, I have to find out. I have to find out from the higher ups, or they make up some random bullshit that wasn't there for the first place. The truth is that most organizations confuse change with transformation. Change is cosmetic, like switching from a flip phone to a smartphone, but still using it to make calls. Transformation means you learn to use in a completely new way, to navigate, to connect, to create. It's uncomfortable at first. It requires, unlearning what you know and then kind of learning something new. And that's why so few places ever do it. They want the results of transformation without the pain of disruption, but it doesn't work that way. You can't download integrity and you can't automate empathy or a KPI or your way to trust. And this is where a lot of people have difficulties, especially when they try to change from one thing to something else. They expect those immediate results. I can tell you, I met a leader once that we are finally becoming a learning organization. So I asked, what have you learned that changed how you lead? He paused for a long moment of time and said, that's a good question. That pause told me everything, because those are the things that we need to discuss. If you can't really tell me much about how things changed all the way from leadership down to the line level, then we have some questions. So see, the hardest thing here about progress is that it starts with humility, the admission that we haven't been doing things good enough. They're not good enough. We need to make things better. It's the realization that safety isn't a finish line, and that's where things come about. Think about it more along this way. It's a moving target. It's the one that shifts every time the world does. So as the environment changes, everything else changes too. And right now, the world is shifting faster than our systems can handle. AI, automation, hybrid work. These things are rewrites of what safe even means. So if you're still measuring progress by yesterday's definitions, we're already behind. Think about that as an organization, because that's really how it goes. So progress isn't a number. It's not a narrative. It's the stories that you tell yourself about why you're doing what you're doing, and whether it still makes sense in the world you're in today. In the story, if the story that hasn't, changed questions lately, maybe it's time to change some of the questions, because the danger of a mirage just isn't that it's fake, is that it keeps you walking in the wrong direction, thinking that you're almost there. I mean, I think we know that, right? Duh. So maybe this week, don't ask, how far have we come? Ask, are we still headed where we need to go? And if the answers makes you feel a little uncomfortable, well, I'm glad that it did, because I think that those things are always important to do. No, seriously, I'm not joking as I say that. That's the signal that you're still alive, still learning, and just maybe, finally moving forward to something that is real.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
You ever hit the wall, burnout, stressed, or just feeling that everything is piling up and thought, yeah, I probably need to talk to someone? The problem is finding the therapist who actually takes your insurance feels impossible at times. That's where Rula comes in. Rula is a healthcare company that makes mental health care easy to access and actually affordable. They partner with over 100 insurance plans, so the average copay is about $15 a session, sometimes even less. With Rula, you get matched with the right therapist for you, not just whoever's available. Their network has over 15,000 licensed professionals, and you can book an appointment as soon as tomorrow. No wait list, no frustrations, just therapy that works with your schedule and your insurance. Thousands of people are already using Rula to get affordable, high-quality therapy that actually covered by insurance. Visit Rula.com/safetyfm to get started. After you sign up, you'll be asked how you heard about them. Please support our show and let them know that we sent you there. That's RULA.com/safetyfm. You deserve mental health care that works with you, not against your budget. Go to Rula.com/safetyfm right now to get started. That's RULA.com/safetyfm, because you deserve mental health care that works with you, not against your budget.
What if everything we thought we knew about safety was just interference? From the host of the Rated R Safety Show and the founder of Safety FM comes the complete signal transmission trilogy, now available in one powerful edition. Safety, in my opinion. The book that started the conversation. Safety Mutation, where the boundaries of culture, systems, and belief begin to break. And now, Safety Transmission, the final piece of the signal. For the first time, all three books are together in one volume. The Signal Transmission Trilogy, Complete Edition. This isn't just about compliance. It's about consciousness. It's about decoding the way we think, lead, and live, inside and outside the system. Whether you've been following the signal since the beginning or you're just now tuning in, this is the version to own. Search Signal Trilogy on Amazon or visit safetyfm.com to get your copy now.
Radio. Big. USA, Canada, UK.
If you're anything like me, you have certain tendencies to put things off, such as filing taxes, seeing the doctor, working on that home improvement project that you're supposed to be doing, but you just haven't gotten to it. And while most of the times it works out, the one thing in life that you really cannot afford to wait on is setting up term coverage life insurance. You've probably seen life insurance commercials on TV and thought, yeah, I'll look into it later. Well, the answer is no. This isn't something that you can wait for. Choose life insurance through Ladder today. Ladder is 100% digitals, no doctors, no needles, no paperwork. When you apply for $3 million in coverage or less, just answer a few questions about your health in an application. Ladder's customers rate them 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot, and they've made Forbes' Best Life Insurance in 2021's list. You just need a few minutes and a phone or a laptop to apply. Ladder's smart algorithm works in real time, so you'll find out if you're instantly approved. No hidden fees, cancel anytime, get full refund if you change your mind in the first 30 days. Ladder policies are issued by insurers with long proven histories of paying claims. They're rated A and A+ by AM Best. Finally, since life insurance costs more as you age, now is the time to cross it off your list. So go to ladder.com/safetyfm today to see if you're instantly approved. That's LADDER life.com/safetyfm. Ladderlife.com/safetyfm.
This isn't a safety manual. It's a transmission. Jay Allen, PhD, host of the Rated R Safety Show and founder of Safety FM, has spent years pulling back the curtain on the systems we work in and the ones we don't talk about. What started as a fatal crash on the 405 became a search for truth through behavior-based safety, human and organizational performance, simulation theory, and everything in between. Safety, in my opinion, is raw, reflective, and real. From burnout to breakthroughs, from the matrix to the moment someone says, "This doesn't feel right." This book doesn't give you answers. It hands you the signal. Safety, in my opinion, Available now, wherever books and audiobooks are found.
Radio Big. Streaming 24/7 at radiobig.fm.
Chase the shadow, let the moment die. Everything just fed the same. The cards put me deep behind. All our prayers are made of moon. All my love just broken toys. I walked the world before the signal called. Fell through the dark, thought I lost it all.
Okay, here we are. 45 minutes past the top of the hour.
Through the static and pain.
Yeah, this one right here is called Before the Signal.
The signal spoke my name again.
Yeah. Apparently, music producer is the next thing that we will be hanging out doing, as you can tell.
Bodies fade,
Okay.
angels laugh.
So let's get back into the move and the groove of things as we are hanging out, talking a little bit here on the Rated R Safety Show. Let me tell you about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime, and that's about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help. We want you to know that people have been where you are now and things can get better. Healing is possible. To find out more information, go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com and click on the section that says Find Help. Once you get there, there'll be information related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorders, self-injury, suicide, trauma, and grief support, just to name a few. That's TWLOHA.com. To Write Love on Her Arms. Listen, the moment you get there, you can take a look around on that website. There are things on there that could change your life. No doubt about that. So take a look. Take a listen, see what exactly is there, see if it can do the things that need to be done, because I will put it to you this way. There are so many things in life that can assist you, but you have to make sure that you look. And if you kind of get into some doubt and you don't know where to look, that is definitely the place to go to. That's TWLOHA.com. To Write Love on Her Arms. Let's get into two of these real quick as we are talking. A Maryland man's post-gym pit stop turned into a six-figure surprise when he bought a Powerball ticket and won $150,012. The Prince George County resident decided to stop at Keller's Market after finishing a workout on October the 16th. Grabbing a few Powerball and Mega Million tickets before heading home. 2 days later, his Powerball ticket hit big on October the 18th. Drawing shocked by the win, he called his wife to confirm that it wasn't a dream. The lucky player said that he plans to save most of it, though he hinted that some might go to holidays to make it a little bit merrier. So there you go. Also, in some other news, some police in Buena Vista Township, Michigan, are seeking charges against a woman who threw hot coffee at a McDonald's worker after an argument over a canceled online order. The incident caught on video shows the customer growing angry. We're told that her order had been automatically canceled except for her coffee and would be refunded. After exchanging words with the employee, the woman removed the lid, poured the hot coffee drink on the worker's back while yelling profanities before storming out. The employee screamed in pain as bystanders looked on. Authorities have since identified the suspect but haven't yet located her, and police have requested felony assault charges in the Saginaw County Prosecutor's Office. Kind of weird. Because couldn't they just redo the order? Just a curiosity question there. I mean, I really don't know anything else. So McDonald's slogan might need to be a tweak. I'm burning it. Talk about taking your venti out on the staff. Venti, just in case. She's about big buckshot. And she has been facing hot case of assault and caffeine. They told her that the coffee was fresh, not a fresh felony. Her loyalty card has just turned into an arrest warrant, and next time, maybe just ask for a refund, because that might be the easiest thing to do. No,
Safety
seriously.
never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so take a listen to this, because this has been going viral, so take a listen to this. A Reddit user went viral after claiming their recent job interview was conducted by AI bot rather than a real recruiter. The candidate said that the experience felt weird after noticing that the interviewer's robotic head movement and flawless hesitation-free speech. During the video call, the supposed recruiter smiled, nodded, and asked questions, but subtle glitches like repeated gestures and scene freezes made it clear that something wasn't human. When the user asked the follow-up question, the AI responded perfectly but unnaturally, confirming their suspiciousness. The post ignited a debate online, with many arguing the candidates should be told that they're speaking to a bot. Others chimed in, charming similar uncanny encounters and joking that if companies can use AI interviewers, but applicants should be allowed to use AIs to answer too. So there you go. As you always know, controversies will never stop when it comes to this new AI world that we're living in. So don't worry about that. Let's bring in somebody who's much happier about life and talks about things in a positive manner. Let's bring in some John Smalls right now and let him tell you about the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute, courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com and JaceCaseMedical.com.
The Motivation Minute.
Today's quote was submitted by Dean. Henry Van Dyke said, "There is a loftier ambition than merely to stand high in the world. It is to stoop down and lift mankind a little higher." I love that. Thank you, Dean. I've known Dean for about 15 years, and he lives this quote very well. He's the kind of guy who has reached down to help others many times in his life. I'm one of those people. When we were still new acquaintances, I asked him for advice on something because I valued his opinion. Not only did he give me advice, he stepped up in a big way to help us. That is the kind of impact I would like to make as well. Dean, it's an honor to know you and to call you a friend.
The Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute, courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com and JaceCaseMedical.com. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
Ukraine reports intense fighting as the conflict enters its 1,354th day.
Russian forces continue to shell eastern regions with heavy artillery. Ukrainian officials report significant civilian and military casualties amid ongoing battles. International observers warn the conflict shows no signs of easing soon, with diplomatic efforts stalled. Joseph Eckerson reporting.
Syria's Ahmad al-Sharaa arrives in the United States, marking the first official visit by a Syrian president to Washington since 1946.
The visit comes amid announcements of a major operation targeting ISIL cells in Syria. Al-Sharaa's visit aims to open new diplomatic channels after years of tension. Observers note the visit could signal a shift in U.S.-Syria relations, though challenges remain given Syria's recent history. Liam White reporting.
3 people are confirmed dead following a tidal surge on Spain's Canary Islands.
Strong waves pulled victims into the Atlantic Ocean during a sudden surge event. Emergency services responded quickly, but were unable to save those swept away. Authorities are warning residents to remain cautious as weather conditions remain unstable in the area. Benjamin Wright reporting.
This is the latest news headlines.
The longest federal government shutdown in U.S. history is now on day 41 with no resolution in sight.
Flight cancellations and food stamp interruptions are causing widespread disruptions. Senate leaders met for rare weekend sessions aiming to end the impasse. Democrats offered concessions to reopen the government, but disagreements persist over funding and health care subsidies. Lawrence Keller reporting.
New York governor has authorized the use of state funds to resume SNAP food stamp payments after federal payments were cut off.
The move comes 9 days after benefits stopped due to the shutdown. Approximately 2.9 million New Yorkers rely on the program, and state officials are working to mitigate hunger during the federal impasse. The governor emphasizes the urgency of caring for vulnerable populations. Jessica Oakley reporting.
Air travel disruptions continue across the United States as the shutdown delays payments for air traffic controllers.
Flight cancellations at major airports are expected to increase in the coming days. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy warned travelers of potential delays during the busy holiday season. Airlines airlines are adjusting schedules amid uncertainty about when the government will reopen. Kevin Sanders reporting.
The U.S. Coast Guard is preparing to assist Customs and Border Protection agents at its Alameda base in California as part of a broader effort to deter illegal border crossings and potential threats.
This cooperation is part of intensified federal measures focused on border security and law enforcement. Recently, Coast Guard personnel defensively fired weapons at a vehicle that reversed toward them during a protest outside the Alameda base. No injuries were reported. Kyle Norris reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
Radio Big. Streaming 24/7 at radiobig.fm.
Yep, that's how it goes. Whoa. I'm learning how to press the buttons, it sounds like. Anyways, let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. Today, back in 1775, the U.S. Marine Corps gets established. Also in 1969, Sesame Street premieres. But here's kind of the twist. It's days to celebrate as well as you take a look at both of those things because they're being celebrated as a day for today because they're the day that they occurred. And let's not play this one down. Back in 1989, Germans began punching holes in the Berlin Wall. That happened all back on this date, back in several years ago, is what it sounds like. So there you go. If you want to talk about some celebrity birthdays for today, let's talk about that. Sinbad turned 69. Mackenzie Phillips turns 66. Tracy Morgan turns 57. Ellen Pompeo turns 56. Eve, the rapper, turns 47 today. Heather Matarazzo turns 43. And Miranda Lambert turns 42 today. So there's some birthdays for you. So some stuff to talk about, no doubt about that. Anyways, let's do this real quick because, I think that we need to know this. Things you ought to know. Wendy's is gearing up for another big round of closure. This time's hundreds of stores during Friday's investors call. Interim CEO Ken Cook said that the fast food chain plans to shut down mid-single digit percentage of roughly 6,000 U.S. locations. That's the amount of 240 to 360 restaurants following last year's 140 closures. Cook said that some locations simply don't elevate the brand and hurt the franchise performance. The company's plans is either upgrade, transfer, or close those underperforming spots, depending on what makes sense financially. The shutdown will roll out starting the fourth quarter of this year, though Wendy's hasn't revealed which stores are on the chopping block. Also, UPS and FedEx have grounded their entire fleet of MD-11 cargo planes following a deadly crash in Louisville last week. The incident occurred on Tuesday night when the UPS MD-11 engine detached from the wing. Also, what else do we got? Do we got anything else? Nope, that's going to be it. Let's kind of jump onto this real quick as we are moving. If I can do this, if you're okay with it, of course, let me kind of tell you some words of wisdom, positive or negative. The beliefs we identify with result in any number of effects that will dominate the shape of our lives. Think about that. At the top of the hour, I'll be going over to Radio Big if you want to come and hang out with me for the next couple hours or so. If not, that is perfectly fine. You can stay right here with the likes of Sheldon Primus as he talks about the world of safety consulting. So that is it. That's going to sum up our time together. Thank you for hanging out. Always a good time when you and I get to hang out together. If I can leave you with some advice for today, I would love to leave you with this. Save the water from cooking pasta. Let it cool, then use it to water your houseplants. Just saying. Anyways, I know who you are. You know who I am. Love ya, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Safety FM and or Radio Big. The content discussed, including examples of analysis, is provided for illustrative purposes only. It should not be applied as the sole solution in real-world scenarios, as it is based on limited and dated open source information. Any assumptions made during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are not reflective of Safety FM and or Radio Big. No portion of this broadcast, podcast, or radio show may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of Safety FM and or Radio Big. For permission requests, please contact Safety FM or Radio Big directly.
Don't spoke. Every drug a hymn, every kiss a chain. Every truth dissolved in rain. But somewhere deep beneath my skin, a voice kept whispering, begin.